Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Fuzzfinger here, and in this episode of Final Fantasy XII I'm going to show you how to craft the important gemsteel ingredient. Yes, gemsteel is only an ingredient and it requires other ingredients in order to make it, but if you're going to be going after some of the game's strongest weapons, then gemsteel is definitely something you're going to want to know about, so stay tuned. Right, so gemsteel is used in two of the game's ultimate weapon recipes, and I'm going to be making videos on both of those, but I did want to keep this ingredient separate so you can refer back to it if you need to. And those weapons are Kumbha, which is the game's ultimate samurai blade, Katana, and that's going to be used by your Bushi job, and also the Tourensol, which is a Greatsword and the ultimate Greatsword in the game. So to create both of these items, you're going to need a total of 5 gemsteel. That's 2 to craft Kumbha and 3 to craft Tournesol. So each gemsteel is going to require the following ingredients: Damascus Steel times 2, Hellgate Flame times 2, and Scarletite times 1. So you get those ingredients, sell them at a vendor, a merchant, and the gemsteel will be purchasable from the bazaar, and it is repeatable as well. So each time you sell those ingredients, you can purchase another gemsteel for doing so. So in order to get 5 gemsteel, you're going to, if you're going to craft all 5 of those gemsteel, require the following: 10 Damascus Steel, 10 Hellgate Flame, and 5 Scarletite. Now, you can actually get a gemsteel from Montblanc at the clan by acquiring 8 Espers. If you go and speak to him, he'll give you a gemsteel as a reward. If you do that, you only need to farm 8 Damascus Steel, 8 Hellgate Flame, and 4 Scarletite in order to craft both items. It should also be mentioned that gemsteel can drop from the level 99 red chocobo, but only in the game world. I don't believe that's true for the trial mode version, and it has a 1 in 256 chance of spawning in the game world, and it's a very hard enemy to defeat. So I'm going to assume that that's not the method you're going to be using to collect a single piece of gemsteel. Instead, we're going to be crafting, as I say, get 8 Espers and you can get at least 1 gemsteel from Montblanc. So we're going to be crafting farming for 8 Damascus Steel, 8 Hellgate Flame, and 4 Scarletite, and that's what this video is going to be showing you how to do. Okay, I have to turn my mic down a little bit. I think it was a little bit too loud. Okay, so in order to collect the Damascus Steel, which is the first item I'm going to show you how to farm for, you need to port over to Mount Damascus, and we're going to be making our way over to Paramina Rift. Now, this is, as far as I'm aware, the best place to farm this item, although it can still take quite a bit of time to get. So we need to spawn a rare enemy, and we need to steal it, and we need to do that 12 times in order to get the... 12 times, you need to do it 10 times, or 8 times if you've got a gemsteel already from Montblanc. We need to make our way over to this particular area, just in the centre of the screen. Now when you're in this area, you basically need to kill all 12 enemies that spawn here. That will allow the rare that we need to steal from to spawn. He won't spawn if there's any other enemies alive in this particular area. So just to confirm, the area is called Caridine Glacier. That's where you need to be. And some of the enemies here are neutral, so you'll need to attack them manually. But kill all 12 enemies and he will spawn. Now he actually spawns if you're on the Hunt Club quest with another mob. And I've already done a video on that rare mob and how to take him out. But even if you've killed him, he won't respawn again. But the mob that we're after, the rare that we're after, will. So Anch Hag is the fiend that we're going to be stealing from, the rare mob. And he will spawn as many times as need be. But he won't spawn immediately once you've... re-enter this area. You have to actually leave the Paramina Rift in order to reset him, and then come back here and kill all 12 enemies once more. So I'm just going to go around, make sure everywhere's cleared. Be careful not to leave this place, or the enemies might reset, which is something you do not want. And when he does spawn, if you're high level, be careful not to kill him. He can spawn around this part here. You don't need to leave this area in order to get him to spawn, by the way. He will spawn even when you are in the same area. So just check that everything has been killed. It hasn't. Just go around. Be careful not to exit. So everything's dead around there. We killed the neutrals around here. We killed the zombies that spawned out of the ground. And the rare will spawn around this part here once you've killed all the other enemies. There he is, you can see him. So what I'm going to do at this point is just turn the gambits off for our party members. That's better. And make sure that Varn has the thief's armlet or glove or whatever it's called, thief's cuffs. And turn his steel gambit on. And hopefully, with any luck, we'll get the item, which is Damascus Steel. Speed things up a touch. And a touch more. Yes, it can take a bit of time, as you can see here. Ugh. But this is the enemy, Anchag, that we're after. So even though it's a rare spawn, it's one that we can always spawn just by clearing out the enemies. We got that's it, a nugget of Damascus Steel. That's what we wanted. And now it's gone. So we need to reset him. Now we can kill him if we want to. Doesn't make any difference. In fact, we probably should do. But either way, it's going to reset, I believe. Once we quit this zone, and we have to clear out. Sorry, we have to go out of the Paramina Rift altogether. So we head back to Mount Baramesis is probably the best bet, the quickest way out of here. And then when we make our way back in, we can go ahead and find him again. Okay, right. Since I already have 1 Gemsteel for Montblanc for getting 8 Espers, I only need to farm 4 more Gemsteels, which means I need 8 Damascus Steel. The reason why I've only got 7 is because I want to show you how quickly you can actually farm these. It's not as long as you think. You think having to go to the Paramina Rift, killing 12 enemies in order to get this rare to spawn is a bit of a nuisance, and it is, but not as bad as you think. So I'm going to do the last run, and I'm going to time it so you can see how long it takes to get 1 of these Damascus Steel. Remember, you're going to need 8 if you have, if you don't have the 1 Gemsteel from 8 Espers, or if you do so, or 10 if you don't. Okay. So anyhow, here we are at the start of Mount Baramesis, and this is where you need to be to reset the encounter spawn so that you can get him again. And I'm just going to start timing, and then we're going to see how quickly we can do this. Go. So I'm going to hold flee down, and the first thing we're going to do is just make our way to the area itself. And if I can do this in a few minutes, then obviously just multiply that by 8 or 10, depending on how many you need, and you'll know how long it's going to take you to do this farm. Well, roughly anyway, there's a bit of randomness involved. Okay, so this is where we want to be clearing enemies. And we start off with the wolf here. Down here then we go for the neutrals, which don't take too long. You do have to select them manually, unfortunately. And then if we go around here, there's 2 more wolves. Down here there's some undead. And then around here for the crocodile type enemy, the furry crocodile. And then finally there's some more undead that spawn around here. And then what the rare mob will spawn, what can take a while is actually getting the item from him. So what I'm going to do is bring Balthin, get rid of Van because he's set up to steal. And then turn off the gambits for Bash and Redas. And then we'll just basically wait until we've stolen the Damascus Steel. The nugget of Damascus Steel, it says when you steal it. There it is. So what I'll do now is just turn the gambits on for our other friends, and then just kill this guy quickly. You don't have to, but then we just need to run back in order to reset him to Mount Baramesis. So far it's taken me a minute and 35 seconds. So as you can see, it's not that bad at all. Just hold the flee button down. And this final screen. And every time, by the way, I've stolen, he's had that item. And stop recording now. So that's taken me 1 minute and 55.9 seconds. So less than 2 minutes to do that. So to get 10, and that's if you need 10, you probably only need 8. But if you need 10, that's a 20-minute farm if that. So I know it sounds harsh having to do that to get 8 of those Damascus Steels. But all things considered, it's not that bad really. So don't let that put you off farming for your gemsteels. Right then, folks, so we've got 8 of those, which is what we need. Let's move on now to the next thing. Oh, that's what I was about to tell you. You get that item every time you steal. So, I don't know if having the Thief's Cuffs makes a difference or not, but it works for me with. So I made sure that I used them on my thieves. And as I say, those Damascus Steels were the steal every single time. Right then, let's move on. The next item we need to farm then in order to craft gem steel is Hell's Gate Flame. And again, you're going to need 10 Hell's Gate Flame if you want to craft 5 gem steel. Or if you've got a gem steel for Montblanc for having 8 Espers, then you only need to farm 8 Hell's Gate Flame. Either way, these items are probably the most annoying part of this particular farm, and they only are going to be coming in small doses, so you'll probably have to spend a bit more time than you did in the previous area. So what you want to do is make your way over to the Feywood, to the blue save crystal area. That's going to be our starting point for this farm, and the quickest way to get here is to teleport to the orange crystal in Guravagan. Then the exit to the Fellwood is very, very close to that orange crystal. Enter the Fellwood and make your way north to this particular point. The enemy we're going to be killing is the Cerberus. They have a 5% chance of dropping the Hell's Gate Flame. Remember, we need either 8 or 10 of them, so you could be here for a while. And the area we're going to be farming is this eastern area just above the blue save crystal to the north of our current location. We're going to make our way through there, and if we get to Hell's Gate Flame, we're going to reset the encounters. If we don't, we're going to reload our save each time. So make sure you have your strong attackers. You can also poach them, but also it's a 5% chance of getting the item, so in my opinion it's better just to kill them outright. And they're not the Cerberus. I'm just going slow now. Obviously you'll do this on high speed when you do this properly, but just look to the left as you run down here. These orange guys are the Cerberus. Now, despite what you might read or hear, there's a Hell's Gate Flame. Oh, how lucky was that, the first one? Despite what you may read or discover on the internet, chaining them makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. So don't worry about whether you've got a high chain or not. It's always a 5% chance. Just make your way through the eastern side here, and this is where you'll see the majority of them. Not so lucky that time, unfortunately. Just keep looking to the left as well, because you can still get them to spawn. And the trick is, we're just staying to the east here. You can even flee from these other big guys, so we don't really need to kill them. Although it looks like our party's going to insist. And here's another one. You can get about 3 to 5 spawn in the zone. So just make your way here. Here's another one. Prime Belt is going to be your most common loot that you find on these guys. And once you're here, you can exit the area. So what you're going to want to do at this point, because we found one, is reset the enemies, and the way you reset them is by going 2 screens away. Now if I hadn't found one, I'd have just reloaded my save, because otherwise we'd still have to reset the enemies to get them to spawn again, and that would be pointless. So just going to go 2 enemies this way, 2 areas this way. And now we'll go back, and they'll respawn again. And then you can always save your game then, as you head back into the previous area. Ribbons will probably be helpful with some of these status ailments that are being inflicted upon us. Make sure you go to the east side again. The enemies are back. And it's just basically repeating this until you get all 8 or 10 of the item, the Hell's Gate Crystal. What a charming name. So you can skip these other enemies if that makes it easier for you. Although with high speed mode on, it's not really too much time taken in killing them. There's another one dead. Unfortunately, no loot. Remember to try and stay to the east wherever possible, because this is where you'll most commonly see them. And it looks like that's our quota, so we're going to save, and we can either reload or very quickly just go and reset. Probably the latter's going to be even quicker. In fact, there's no point even saving, is there? With high speed mode, doing soft reset is probably even longer than just resetting the area by going 2 screens away. Look. There we go. So now the enemies will be reset nicely for us. As a matter of fact, we only need to go into this particular area where I'm at, right there. So I went one area too far. It's not going to make any difference, but it was just, you know, more time that we didn't need. Another prime pelt. Another prime pelt. Just checking to the left, make sure there's nothing cheeky spawning along the way. Seems like I've not paying attention to the map there, something you do want to do. Any more? Yeah, another one. Another prime pelt, wonderful. So, unfortunately not as successful this time. But you get the idea, so just go up and down that area, farming until you have them all. I've got 7 then of these Hellgates Flame, which means I'm 1 off from what I actually need. And it's taken me about 35-40 minutes to get this amount, which is probably less than I thought it was going to take actually. It's not been too bad, I've done it in 1 sitting. What I should mention actually, it's very important to mention, is that you do need the monograph for these guys, or it's just not going to drop at all. You cannot get this item without the monograph. I know that we're pretty much all going to have the monograph by this point in the game, but just bear that in mind, that if you're not seeing it drop at all, just check you have got the monograph. But also, I have changed the route that I'm using. I should just point that out as well. So what I'm doing now is just going around the outside, as I did before. But this is a better route in my opinion, because you don't need to do any resets at the save point or anything. So again, just stay to the east. And this has been a bit of a poor run in terms of actually seeing many of the red dogs. And we'll just make our way back here. And what we need to do is just loop around. They can actually respawn as you go around, so you're not wasting your time. And then just head to the next area beneath the save point, and that resets everything. That's all you need to do. Everything is now reset, and the enemies will be back. So basically you get red dogs and blue dogs. The red dogs are the Cerberus, which is what we need. But every time you see a blue dog, a red dog could have spawned. As far as I'm aware anyway. They have a slightly less spawn chance. You will see more blue dogs, unfortunately. But generally speaking, you're going to see blue dogs where red dogs can spawn. So I just generally kill everything as we go away. Go around even. And again, don't worry about the chains. It makes no difference because it's a monograph drop. It's 5% flat and that's it. And then we'll just make our way back. That was a blue one, wasn't it? So I don't think we need that. And then just making my way around this side, because you can get the red dog spawning over here as well. Although not as often, I've noticed. And then sometimes you get a respawn down here. This time it's a respawn of blue, that's okay. And then we just head back to the save points, past it into the next area. Back we go. And onwards to glory, basically. So the dogs would have respawned once more. And on 4 times speed, you're going to whiz through this, quite frankly. Whiz through it at good speed. And hopefully get your Hell's Gate Flames quite quickly. Well, relatively quickly anyway. It is going to take a bit of time, unfortunately. But I'm going to farm for this last one here. And then I'll meet you for the final item. Okay, and finally, once you've got all of those, the final item we're going to need to create the GEMSTEEL is the Scarletite, and you're going to need either 5 for 5 GEMSTEEL or 4 for 4 GEMSTEEL, and unfortunately, it's going to require more farming. So make your way over to the Nebraeus Deadlands, and you're going to need the Hunter's Monograph for this, since it's another drop. And we want to make our way over to the Echoes of the Past area, which is just down here. And this is the enemy we want to kill, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, the Emerald-Ditton, or whatever it's called, has a 6% chance of dropping it. So unfortunately, not a very high chance. Chains, again, don't matter. Most of the time you're going to get an aged turtle shell. But occasionally, you might be a little bit luckier. And fortunately, we only need stuck in a boat there. Stop it. We only need half of what we required of the other item, but it is sadly still going to involve having to reset the area. You only need to go back to the place with the save points. So then you've gone 2 areas and then find your way back. And hopefully, with a 6% drop chance, it won't take you too long to get 4 of those items. But that's pretty much it, so see how we get on. There it is. Check on the map for the red dots, because obviously that's what's going to help you find it. And it might be quicker to go this way just to reset. No, actually I don't think it will be. But good to experiment. Maybe it is. Anyway, I'll leave that up to you to decide. So go and kill that guy until you get your items. And it's Scarletite you're looking for. You can poach it as well, but again, same chance, so not really much point in doing that. Now then, I did manage to get one of those, if I just show you, in about 25 minutes of farming that stupid turtle, one Scarletite. But if you're on the hunt quest, which I'm doing at the moment, the Hunters Club, then there's another way you can do this, so long as you haven't actually defeated one of the particular rares that you can steal it from. And that is, if you port over to the port, then you can head north into Sorobi Steppe here. And we're going to head over to the central right-hand eastern section. And there's a rare game that spawns over there. It's part of the quest. And you can steal it from this enemy. Now, don't kill it, because once you've killed it, it will never spawn again. But if you steal the item, it's a rare steal, or don't steal it, as the case may be, either way. Then you don't kill it. Instead, you just leave the area by 2 zones and get it to respawn again. Now, it only has a 40% chance of spawning in the area. So just bear that in mind. It's not a guaranteed spawn. But we'll see if it spawns on this occasion. So we're going to head in, because this is where it's found. We'll just slow things down a touch. Right, there it is. Espers de Kelon. Either way, what we want to do is set up our stealing gambits here. So I'm going to bring Balthea in for this. Just get rid of Pinello for the time being. Make sure you give them the Thieves' Gloves. Obviously, you'll only need to do this once. Then you've set up for it all then. And just make sure that Ash isn't going to be attacking. Give them the Thieves' Gloves. And hopefully we'll be able to get the item here. And it's not going to take too long to do so. Thieves' Cuffs, that's it. Oh, come on. And Balthea. Ooh, what's happened? Seemed to shoot all over the place then. Right, couldn't steal, yada yada yada. Remember, I'm not going to be killing this thing, so even if you steal it, we're going to be running away. I need to do a video on this guy as well, as part of the Hunt quest. The Hunt Club quest. Scarletite, there it is. Wonderful, now I've got 2. So again, just need to escape to 2 zones. And heal up if you need to. And then back again we go. And it's got a 40% chance of spawning once more. Is that it? Yeah, it is. And there we go, another Scarletite. See how quick that was? Now we just need to go back and do this one more time. Okay, so once you've got all the items, I highly recommend you save, because if you do this wrong, you're going to have to end up farming again, and you don't want to be doing that, trust me. So go to a merchant, any merchant will do. Dice here, if he'll actually let me speak to him. Now, the way this works with the bazaar is you can only make 1 bazaar item available at any one time. I mean, you can have more available at once, but I mean, only one can become available at any one time. So in other words, what you need to be careful of is that you do not sell all of the items together. So if I sell, for example, all 4 of these, 8 of these, and 8 of these, we're only going to unlock 1 GEMSTEEL, which is obviously no good. So what we need to do is sell 1 Scarletite at a time, 2 Hell's Gate at a time, and 2 Damascus Steel at a time. Then we'll come out, new bazaar goods are available, purchase, we get the GEMSTEEL. Wonderful. Now we come out of the dialogue completely, and then we'll speak to the merchant again. I've chose the wrong one here, I've got a whole ton of talking to get through each time you speak to him. But then you go ahead and sell again. So 1 Scarletite, 2 of these, and 2 of these steels. New bazaar goods are available. We can buy it again. And there's our next GEMSTEEL. You see? That's how this is going to work. And this is what you're going to be rewarded with, 5 GEMSTEEL. So that was the ultimate goal, and I'm really happy now that we've got those, 5 GEMSTEEL. So that was 1 that I collected from Montblanc, and the other 4 we've just obviously farmed the ingredients for. So with these GEMSTEEL, we're going to be able to create 2 powerful weapons. So stick around and watch the videos for those, which I'm about to make now actually, so hopefully they'll be up soon if you're watching this when it's gone live. But yeah, there's the 5 GEMSTEEL. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and that you know now how to get the items you need. If it has, please don't forget to hit the like button, and be subscribed to my Fuzzfinger Gaming YouTube channel as well for more hopefully helpful videos like this one in the future. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Hope you've had somewhat relative fun. To be honest, I haven't had that much fun doing all this farming, but then I don't enjoy that type of thing. Anyway, I'm off now. Cheers all, goodbye.